And again, a reminder, we are about 5 minutes away from getting underway with the 2025 MRO Better Half Dash. Pre-race ceremonies will begin in approximately 5 minutes. As we're getting ready for today's and this evening's festivities, want to thank the sponsors: Speedway Motorsports, Inc., Racing Electronics, Trackhouse Motorplex, Eric Jones Foundation, Flow Racing, Deadline Signs, and Almost Famous Hat Company. All very gracious sponsors of tonight's event.
About 3 minutes. 3 minutes to pre-race ceremonies.
Drivers, you are needed immediately at the driver introduction stage. Drivers, please report to the driver intro stage.
I'm wondering if that's a surprise foot race out there.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for driver introductions here for the MRO Better Half Dash. If you would please, a large round of applause and exciting noises for our drivers here today as we start out with 11th on the grid, driving the number 8, sponsored by Burn Boot Camp and benefiting MRO, Deanna Burnett. In 10th position, driving the number 16, sponsored by Canine Cabins and Dogtails, Inc. and Biffle's Impact Fundraising Foundation, Christina Biffle. Rolling off 9th, driving the number 44, sponsored by ZMAX and benefiting MRO and Richmar Flores Taylor de Benedetto. In 8th position, driving the number 82, sponsored by Ivy and Olive and benefiting MRO, Jamie Lambert. In 7th, driving the number 21, sponsored by Bennett Transportation and Logistics and benefiting Pit Stops for Hope, Ashlyn Hill. In 6th spot, driving the number 10, sponsored by Blue Ridge The Series and benefiting MRO, let's give it up for Haley Dillon. In 5th position, driving the number 18, sponsored by Kelly Benefits and SAIA LTL Freight, and benefiting MRO, Kristen Labani. In 4th position, driving the number 35, sponsored by Armored Products Inc., Clubfoot Solution, and Ace Hardware. Give it up, and benefiting the Meredith Haga Foundation, Caitlin Gase. Come on! In 3rd position, driving the number 4, sponsored by Funkaway and benefiting Darby's Warrior Support, Ariana Jensek. She's our defending champion, by the way. Give her another round of applause. In 2nd position, driving the 00, sponsored by Pit Boss Grills and Road Ranger, benefiting the Friends of Jacqueline Foundation, Cammie Creed. And in pole position, that first spot, that's right, driving the number 99, sponsored by Quaker State, benefiting Project Street Vet, Julia Piquet. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, a round of applause for your drivers in today's Better Half Dash. All right, ladies and gentlemen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as you are able, please rise and remove your hats as former Better Half driver Jessica Ives offers our invocation.
Let us bow our heads in prayer. Lord, thank you for gathering us all here at Trackhouse Motorplex this evening for this very special event to showcase your daughters in Christ. The women of NASCAR are what holds this industry together. Their unwavering sacrifice and endurance helps to keep the family together, all while enabling their spouse to persevere from February to November. Protect them, guide them, and provide peace and grace to their crew chiefs as they race this evening, Lord. We are both humbled and blessed to be here. May this race be honoring to you. It is in your name we pray. Amen.
If you would please remain standing as Taylor Hamlin performs our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light, where so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Wonderful job. How about a round of applause again, please, for Taylor? Ladies and gentlemen, we are moments away from the most famous words in motorsports, so please clear the track and get ready for those most famous words and the better half dash.
Better Half Dash, Motor Racing Outreach Better Half Dash, presented by Speedway Motorsports Incorporated. I'm Matthew Dillner, joined alongside Rick Allen and, of course, NASCAR racer Anthony Alfredo to bring you today's race. And 11 very talented better halves out there in this field. And we already had qualifying, so we know right now who's the fastest.
Yeah, and in practice earlier today, we saw Julia Piquet go out and put up a pretty good lap, but Ariana Jensic, who was last year's winner, also very competitive. I was surprised by Cammie Creed, Phil Parsons' daughter. I was very surprised at the performance that she put on out there, not only in practice, but then in qualifying second, and doing very well as far as showing her prowess behind the wheel of a kart when she says she's never raced. She's never been out on a racetrack. She's never been behind the wheel of a kart. And so I'm impressed with what we've seen already just in this practice session.
I'll tell you what, one thing, if you're here in the house, or if you're watching live on Flow Racing, or you're watching on Motor Racing Outreach's YouTube channel, the big thing that we added this year is raising money, but also raising money to get your favorite driver to start second in that final segment. So it's called Cash to Dash, okay? So all you got to do is grab your phones and text the word dash to 801-801. Then you can select your favorite driver and put in your donation. The top donation gets to start second in that track position for that final 3-lap shootout. Means everything.
Absolutely. This track is not that easy to pass at. You know, you have really tight corners, and it's all about momentum. So making one simple mistake and slipping up provides a great opportunity for a competitor to capitalize on that, but also for yourself, you need to be really smooth. You need to maintain that track position when you do have it, because we've even seen in years past when drivers make mistakes, it's really difficult to recover from it. So that track position could be huge if someone maybe has the speed but didn't qualify where they wanted to, and they want to have the opportunity to start up front in that final segment.
Now, Rick, we have a different course. If you're a person that comes to Trackhouse Motorplex here in Mooresville, North Carolina, we're running on a shorter course. This is kind of like a short track version of this great facility.
Yeah, it's 9 turns, as you and I counted them out earlier in practice.
I'm not a good
qualifying. But 9 turns we saw in practice and qualifying. These ladies turn laps right around 48 flat, was Julia Piquet, which is a very impressive lap. It's just now going to be, can they maintain that? Julia Piquet, we did see her go out and put back-to-back 48 flat laps together, which was very impressive. She was here last night doing a little practice. We've also seen Deanna Burnett was here also a couple days ago. She said she put 5 hours of practice in here. Yeah, so I think it's fun that there's a commitment. They want to obviously raise money, as you mentioned, for MRO, but also they want to go out there and have fun but look good. And so they want to make sure that they have that, what you were talking about earlier, Anthony, they know where to break, you know, where to be wide open around this course. And so I think a lot of them have spent some time here just trying to figure it out.
Absolutely. And one unique nuance about the karts that they're racing tonight is the fact that they only have rear brakes. So what makes that extremely challenging that a lot of people don't think about is when there's an accident in front of you, instinct is obviously to slow down. That's what you need to do. But when you get on that brake pedal a little bit too hard, the kart goes right around. And last year and in previous races, we've just seen so many even single cart spins that turn into multi-car accidents, because when they see that cart spinning, you get on the brakes and you go around. It's a lesson everyone learns the first time they come here to Trackhouse Motorplex getting in these carts, and it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out tonight.
And I think a lot of people don't understand. They're turning some impressive speeds here as well. I mean, these carts can go up to 55 miles an hour. And when you talk about the brakes and braking into certain areas around this course, there's a skill that obviously, Anthony, you have honed throughout your life, but these ladies have been working on it the past couple weeks, trying to hone that skill and be the best that they can be for tonight's event.
And the really interesting part is to see the role reversal that we're going to see today, because you have your better halves, your wives or a girlfriend, and the usual star of the show, the husband, is the one on the radio giving advice, doing all the coaching. So seeing them try to communicate to their wives is a very, for a guy that's a married man here, it's a very interesting dynamic. Let's just put it that way.
I will say that I've talked to a few of the wives and the girlfriends, and most of them have said we don't want to have our better halves on the radio talking to us while we're out there on the course. But yeah, it's going to be fun. This is, again, a fun event, a fundraising event for MRO.
I'll tell you what, for those of you watching at home, or some of you here, you might be thinking, okay, we're going to see the featured event here, but we need to break it down for you, because this is in 3 different segments. The first segment, 7 laps. That is the most grueling segment that we will have, but then it ramps up. We have a 5-lapper, a little shorter, but still a fair amount of time, out there, and your arms are going to be a little tight and a little sore. But then, of course, we have the reset, which will be the final 3-lap shootout to determine it. And that big cash for to dash, whoever gets that fan vote, who gets the most money raised, gets to move up to the second spot.
And is that during the broadcast that they can text
vote right now?
Dash 801-801,
Yep.
and that will go toward your driver, and the one with the most donations before that final stage gets to go to the front row.
And that is huge, okay? You can have somebody that gets in a little trouble, like Anthony said, and they can make that track position right up, because in 3 laps here, track position is going to be everything.
Absolutely. And on top of that, as you mentioned, that final segment's only 3 laps long. So when you get that track position, you don't really have to defend for very long. So that's a great position to be in. Starting second, going into turn 1, maybe pull off a little bump and run like we saw last year. There's a great opportunity to make some moves in those final laps. And the way they're broken up, the intensity just ramps up throughout the race. So it's going to be very exciting to watch.
I want to put you on the spot here. Who's the person you're looking out for the most?
Honestly, I think our defending champion is one that you're going to want to keep eyes on, starting in the top 3, has racing experience in real life too to lean on. But as you mentioned earlier, Cammie Creed, I mean, for her to be first time racing, qualify on the front row, that's got to give her a lot of confidence coming into this race between last year's champion and Julia Piquet, who's on pole.
Anthony, I am going to admit I spent a little time with Ariana Jensic and at the table after qualifying, and she was there with Parker Retzlaff, and Parker actually the expectations were quite a bit higher, I think, than what Ariana was able to put up there, because Ariana qualified 3rd. Parker was like, she should have been on the pole. I mean, the pressure is still there as well with these other half, as far as the expectations of what they're hoping for. I know Parker was thinking that she was going to go out, win the pole, win every stage, win the race, but it's not that easy. There's a pretty impressive field here.
Well, guys, it's about go time, so I think it's about time to throw it down trackside. Jose Castillo is with us, but also we have a very special pit reporter. They call him in some places the stud of NASCAR, but I'll call him my good buddy, Noah Gregson. Noah, what you got?
Now for the most famous words in motorsports, our Grand Marshal from Speedway Motorsports, Chief Experience Officer, Miss Jessica Fickinger. Give us the most famous words, Miss Jessica.
Ladies, start your engines!
Oh, boy, the most famous words in all of motorsports. And you heard those carts just roar to life, folks, didn't you, out there at Trackhouse Motorplex? Give these ladies a big round of applause as they are strapped in to their machines right now, ready to do battle for the first segment, 7-lap segment, presented by Racing Electronics. Racing Electronics, of course, the worldwide leader in race communications. I've been using Racing Electronics products for years, and they are the best of the best, and also in customer service and how they treat people up and down the ladder of this sport, from the grassroots short tracks all the way to the NASCAR Cup Series. So we are proud to have them as the sponsor of this first 7-lap segment. Remember, folks, tell your family, tell your friends, cash to dash. Let's shake up that grid for the last segment, the last 3-lap segment, and put in your vote. Text cash, the word cash. Or is it dash? Is it dash?
I think
dash. It is dash.
I think it's dash, and it's 801-801.
Thank you. That's why you're the trained professional, Rick Allen, the voice.
We're glad to be here.
But Anthony, we were saying, the favorites. You look at Ariana Jensic and what she did last year. This is a girl that, I'll tell you what, she's an actual racer herself. There's varying levels of experience here in this field, and that's what makes this Better Half Dash so entertaining and so enjoyable. It's not just a bunch of racing ladies. These are people that are the wives, the people behind the scenes, the unsung heroes. Jensic, though, she's a racer at Stafford Motor Speedway in Connecticut.
Yeah, absolutely. You got a racer starting in the top 3. You've got obviously Cammie Creed. She's got her brother Stefan to lean on, her husband Sheldon, her dad, and then you have a PK on the front row. I mean, how do you ignore that, right? You have that one of the most iconic last names in motorsports. A lot of history. She's been around racing her whole life, all forms of it, whether it be road racing, open wheel, sports cars, and of course NASCAR. So she's got plenty of people to lean on and has seen a lot of races. So I'm sure that gave her a lot of confidence coming into this race on what kind of approach to have, and I think that diverse background in motorsports just really helps.
A lot of experience, of course, down there, and she grew up. She was born in Brasilia, Brazil. I think that might take the cake as far as great hometowns. Although Haley Dillon, of course, from Snohomish, Washington, originally. So that's a tongue twister.
It is. Julia Piquet, by the way, when Daniel Suarez, her husband, was given his citizenship at that actual invocation and the ceremony that took place, she made the comment after that was over. She was so proud of everything that he had accomplished, getting his citizenship in the United States, but she said, we're still going to eat tacos, okay? So she wanted to make sure, even though she's a nutritionist, the tacos were going to be a part of that nutrition.
I'll tell you what, there's some good tacos out in that taco stand. Some great food trucks. So in between the segments, make sure that you go out there, you get some bites, some nibbles. I already pounded some chorizo tacos out there. That taco truck is underrated as all get out. Great coffee truck as well, pulled by that beautiful C10. The field is now lined up, bunched up behind the Pace go-kart, and we are 2 by 2, and we're going to have a rolling start for this first 7-lap segment with Julia Piquet and Cammie Creed leading the way.
They're up front. Then we've got Ariana Jensic, Caitlin Gase making up row 2, Kristen Labonte, Haley Dillon in row 3, Ashlyn Hill, Jamie Lambert in 4, Taylor DiBenedetto, Christina Biffle, and Deanna Burnett rounding out the field as we get ready for the first stage to get underway. Again, this one's 7 laps.
Looking behind the Pace vehicle right now, I believe we are going to dip off here. They're giving them the 1 to go this time by. Or no, will we go right now? We will see. We will wait.
Pace car is making the hard right. Green flag in the air. We're racing.
This is where the nerves are most high. 2 by 2. They go through the first and second turn of the Trackhouse Motorplex into the low sun. PK in the lead.
Yeah, they were 4 wide behind him, Anthony. I know you saw that. We talked about the brakes, a little pushing and shoving as they go into turn 4. And things got a little tight there through 5 in that hairpin. Now a battle for the lead. Closing in on Julia Piquet. It looks as though Cammie Creed is fighting hard early.
This is a 2-horse race right now, but Creed with a great run through the final turn, using up all of that racetrack and now tucking in the draft behind Piquet.
That's Ariana Jensic that's tucked in behind Julia Piquet. Creed dropped back to 3rd, but right now Julia Piquet and Ariana Jensic fighting for the lead here at the Motorplex.
We mentioned that experience of last year's champion. She's got a lot of confidence coming into this race, but that clean air is paying off for Julia Piquet in front. She's going to just keep it smooth and keep the pressure on.
Jensic right on the tire tracks of Piquet.
Creed in 4th position right now. It looks like Jensic in 2nd. Caitlin Gase is up to the 3rd spot. Jamie Lambert rounding out the top 5 as they run here on the 2nd lap here at GoPro Trackhouse Motorplex.
Ariana Jensic just gave the bumper to Piquet as they went through the final turn, but it wasn't enough to move her out of the way as they go through turn number 1, and still a kart link separating the top 2.
But she was definitely letting her know she was there. She's closed the gap, and we're only a couple laps into this thing. She seems to have really great drive off, and she's able to close up to her back bumper on corner exit. But she also seems to roll the center a little faster, and that's how she's able to get to that bumper as we see another contact here.
Oh, that's the most
to the inside.
Most interesting part of the racetrack, I think, right there, too. Everyone was talking about that tight hairpin turn number 5.
Great battle up front and a good fight for 3rd still, and that is between Caitlin Gase and the 00 of Cammie Creed. They're running 3rd and 4th right now.
Things are starting to single out a little bit here, so I think these better halves are going to really lean on what they've learned in practice and qualifying this weekend, and any practice laps they might have put in. It's a lot easier when there aren't as many karts around you to kind of apply what you've learned and start putting together smooth, clean laps.
Kristen Labonte now up to the 5th position. Kristen Labonte has gotten around Jamie Lambert for the 5th position. 6th position to Lambert. 7th position to Taylor DiBenedetto. Wow, that lead battle right now, Rick, is hot. That is the hottest battle on the track. These cars have not gotten away from each other like magnets, sticking them both together here, coming to the final 2 turns of this lap.
Yeah, Jensic has been right on the back bumper of Piquet, and let's see if she puts the bumper to her again. No, they still stay a couple feet apart, and it looks like Piquet is going to lead that lap once again.
Piquet getting a really good run there off that final turn 9, and that is a very important part of this racetrack. You know, that leads to the longest straightaway.
Maybe a slip up there, and Jensic trying to take the lead away from Piquet. It was close. She looked on the inside, not going to make the pass this time. They were side by side momentarily. Here she goes again to the inside. Jensic trying to take the lead away.
Piquet's got the inside in this next corner here, this double right. She gets clear, but I like what Ariana's doing. She's been arcing out her corner entries and cutting lower to cross over below Piquet on corner exit. That's how she's been able to get beside her every time.
And again, a reminder, you've got Piquet that has the DNA, and then you have Jensic, who is actually a race car driver now. She runs limited late models in Connecticut.
Jackaroots Stafford Motor Speedway, the racing home of Jensic up in the middle of Connecticut. And right now, she is doing battle with the Brazilian.
And while those two have continued to battle for the lead, that is allowing 3rd and 4th to close the gap. Cammie Creed has moved up into that 3rd position, and Caitlin Gase has fallen back to 4th.
Some of these times in the 48-second bracket, running fast times here at the Trackhouse Motorplex in this first 7-lap segment. 2 laps to go, coming to 1 to go.
See Ariana ducking her head down this front straightaway behind Julia Piquet. The reason she's doing that is because there actually is a little bit of a draft here. When you're talking to speeds upwards of 55 miles per hour in these Trackhouse Motorplex karts, every little bit of slipstream helps, and she's closing that gap up on the straightaway so she could set her up to pass her in the corners.
The gap growing now, though, as Piquet begins to pull away from Jensic. And a great turn 5 there by Jensic has closed the gap once again.
See if she can set her up here in this final set of corners. The last lap here of this 7-lap segment presented by Racing Electronics. Can PK hang on in turn number 9? This is a big exit right here. They both wash up, almost hitting the guardrail. Yellow and checkered flag is out. Segment number 1 to PK.
Impressive run by PK as well as Jensic. Those two pulled away, as well as Cammie Creed finishing in the 3rd spot for segment 1.
Caitlin Gase will come in the 4th position. Kristen Labonte finishing with a top 5 spot. Jamie Lambert in 6th. Taylor DiBenedetto in 7th. Haley Dillon in 8th. Ashlyn Hill in 9th. Deanna Burnett and Christina Biffle round out the rest of the field. And I'll tell you what, when we talk about Ashlyn Hill, I'm loving the fact that Ashlyn and, their whole family right now is pulling a different double duty today.
Yes, they are.
Not just double duty and racing and being moms and dads, but they have their new startup boutique back here, Three Little Hills, as part of our vendor program.
And when I walked in to the Motorplex earlier today, it was an interesting sight to see as we have the better halves, the ladies out on the track showing their skills. I ran into Austin Hill, husband to Ashlyn, and Austin was chasing after his son. So a different feel when he comes to the racetrack where he's in charge of the kids.
I can only imagine. And right now is a great opportunity for these better halves to interact with their husbands and get some information here. One thing I want to point out about that battle for the lead was I noticed Ariana was just a little bit faster in this back half of the track, whereas PK kept pulling away and growing that gap on the front half of the track. So they seem to be tit for tat sort of on their lap times, but in different ways. And I think them having the opportunity to debrief here quickly is going to allow each one of them to potentially find a little bit of speed in their struggle areas and maintain their speed in their strength areas.
Well, now let's go down trackside. We got a little bit of a break here between the two races before we have our 5-lap segment. Let's go down to Jose Castillo.
So catching up here with some of the drivers, the spotters, they're talking, getting some words in about those last 7 laps. Great racing out there. Was talking a little bit with Daniel, Julia over here. Of course, amazing run for Julia. So Julia, I got to ask you, what was that like leading those first 7 laps? Great job out there.
Yeah, thanks. It was good. Tried to keep cool, drive 95%, not make any mistakes. Because 2 years ago, I was in the lead and I screwed it up big time in the last corner. So I was trying not to do that.
I love that. So any words of advice from your crew chief over here? Oh, look, he's even got the branding. He's your PR rep too today.
Oh, he's my new Drew.
So any words of advice that he had that kind of helped you out as you were getting through the curves there?
Yeah, I mean, not to overdrive the corner. When we first came out last night after a while of not being in a go-kart, I was not using the brakes a lot, and he's like, that's why you're not turning, because you're not using the brakes. So we worked on that, and just try and keep calm, make no mistakes.
I love it. Well, best of luck in the final 2-1, and you're doing a pretty good job there too. PR rep handling it all. Any final words for her as she goes out for the second?
Right now, by now the work has been done. It's everything about execution and having fun. She's having a good time. Last night it was not like it is right now. So last night we put a good amount of work into it, and right now it's just about execution and having fun.
I love it. Get out there and have some fun.
I got a question for Daniel.
Oh, here we go. Jumping in.
She's really fast out there, and you've won some road course races in NASCAR. Is she your driver coach when you go to the road courses?
She's my life coach. Coach. Yeah.
I love it. Well, keep it up. Best of luck out there.
Back to you guys up at the booth.
And we appreciate that, Jose. And Noah, obviously down there taking care of
Noah's having
chat.
fun. He's having a little fun.
I think that's what we're all supposed to be doing. We're looking forward to the next segment. It's going to be 5 laps, and that one presented by Deadline Signs out of Concord, North Carolina. Racing Electronics helping us with the first segment. And I'm impressed once again by the fact that we heard Julia Piquet mention 95%. A lot of, I think that's interesting. A lot of drivers have a hard time backing it down a little bit. And I think she probably felt the pressure throughout that first segment because Jensic was on her back bumper continuously. But the fact that she said, I wasn't going to run wide open, how difficult is that to do when you know you have pressure all over you if you make a mistake?
It's certainly difficult, but she's got a great coach in Daniel Suarez, and as we've talked about earlier, so much experience in all different disciplines of motorsports, honestly. And I think that's one common theme is tire conservation, managing your stuff, and for her to be running 95% and have the lead she did is probably scary news for the rest of the field, because if she does have to start pushing here, we'll see how much she's got left in the tank. But I think that's only going to help her throughout the rest of the race. Her confidence, she was smooth, and sometimes that 95% is someone's 100%, and they don't realize it, because even for someone like myself, that 100% is where you're maybe overstepping it and you have to back it down, and that what's 95% for you might be 100% of the kart's capability.
Well, in a kart here, if you give it 100% and you slide those tires, say in a hairpin turn like that turn 5, you can actually scrub off so much speed that it takes you a while to get out of the hole. So, that works to your detriment. But one thing I wanted to actually mention also is Julia Piquet's charity. Okay, it's Project Street Vet. And I asked her, I said, hey, why did you choose that? And she said where she grew up, and then where she spent a lot of time also in Mexico, and also Brazil, of course, where she grew up, that there's a lot more stray dogs or homeless dogs than there are, say, in this country. And, homeless people that live on the street that will often give food to their dogs or their pets before themselves. And, Project Street Vet actually helps in those situations and comes in and tries to partner with those people and trying to help them and their pets. I thought that was really noble.
Yeah, obviously, these drivers all racing for a cause. MRO for quite a few of the drivers, but there's also other foundations, as you mentioned, Project Street Vet for Julia Piquet. Noah, I believe you, continuing to have fun, have caught up with someone we want to hear from.
That's right. We're down here with Cami Creed and her better half tonight, Silver Creed. Right now you're running third, so I guess we can call you Bronze Creed. What's going to take to get to Gold Creed tonight? What's it going to take to win this thing?
I think the first thing is to not get spun out or to not spin myself out. I was expecting around a 5th place finish, maybe 6th, 7th, and I have really surprised myself in 3rd place here. So maybe I'm hoping the leaders might take each other out, and then we'll see where I can go from there. We're just run smooth laps. I'm really grateful for this opportunity. Thank you to Motor Racing Outreach, Pit Boss, and Road Ranger, Friends of Jacqueline. Keep donating, y'all.
That's right. You guys heard her. Keep donating. I hope to be able to call you Gold Creed by the end of the night. Keep it up. Has Sheldon been giving you good words of advice?
Actually, yes, surprisingly. He doesn't yell at me. I'm more yelling at him, I think. So he's a pretty good coach. Stefan's been doing a pretty good job, too. He's like driver coach by trade, So.
Yeah, you're double dipping over here. Well, good luck tonight. Jose, who do you got?
So we're up here with the officials. Yes, that's right. We are so official. We have officials here to help us. Now, I noticed you've been keeping an eye on some of these other halves here. Are they messing with the rides?
Well, the other halves are always going to.
So what do you think? Is it easier dealing with the better halves or the drivers?
Definitely the better halves. They're a little bit less whiny than the drivers.
I like it. Well, thank you all for being here. Thanks so much to everybody that has come out and helped volunteer to pull this event off. It's such a great fundraiser for so many great causes. Thank you for being a great official and keeping an eye on everything.
Thanks for having me.
All right, back to you guys in the booth. We're just a couple minutes away. They're getting strapped in. We're ready to go back green flag racing.
There was a lot of honesty that we heard there out of our officials. And one of the things interesting about Cami Creed, Cami is a former cheerleader for UNC. And I asked her if she was going to do a round-off back handspring into the cart. I don't know if she did, but we didn't watch. So there's
Victory
a possibility.
Lane? Could we get something in Victory Lane, possibly?
That's a possibility. So we'll see what Cami Creed has for us maybe at the end of this race.
I'll tell you what, she would be doing back flips and handstands if she won $5,000. That's something that we really haven't discussed. The donations that are being taken through cash to Dash, of course, texting the word Dash to 801-801 right now and choosing your favorite driver to get them to get your favorite driver to that second starting spot in the final segment. But hey, there's a $5,000 prize to the driver who wins this race to their charity. This is a big money deal. This is rental carts out here for crying out loud, and we're racing for $5,000.
Yeah, it's really cool what Motor Racing Outreach has put together with this Better Half Dash over the years. They're just so important to so many families in the racing community, and to utilize the opportunity to benefit a charity of these better halves choosing is special. So you can play a significant part in how this race plays out and who gets that $5,000 by texting that word DASH to 801-801, because that driver will start second in the final 3-lap segment. That could be huge for any of these drivers. We've seen someone like Christy Labonte drive up into the top 5, and Kristen has an opportunity to potentially win the race if she could restart second in that final segment. So you never know what can happen, but it's certainly going to be exciting to watch.
And Kristen Labonte, somebody that's so crucial to, Motor Racing Outreach. She puts her heart and soul, as many of the people with Motor Racing Outreach do, into this community. And it's not just the drivers. It's their families. It's people all throughout the community. It's not just the race car drivers that get all the attention all the time. So the things that they do behind the scenes with the families, you've experienced it as a driver. You've experienced it too, being involved with MRO for years. I know I have. The relational aspect of Motor Racing Outreach, to me, is what's the most important. You think Motor Racing Outreach, you think ministry, but it really is relational.
It is. And, we've got to thank the Walter family, Daryl and Stevie, the Parsons.
Lake Speed.
Yeah, Lake Speed, who's here with us, one of the board members. They founded MRO, years and years ago to give these families the opportunity to share their beliefs and Christianity. And that's the wonderful thing that all of these families have been able to benefit from MRO, is that it's that church that travels every single week that gives everybody's family the opportunity.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it's made a lot of difference in my life. I will say that firsthand. But right now, the carts have entered the track, and we are going to get ready for this second segment, 5-lap segment. We'll have a rolling start, of course. This segment presented by Deadline Signs of Concord, North Carolina.
And again, it looks as though Julia Piquet and Ariana Jensic, they're going to make up row number 1 after their finishing positions in that first stage. Then it'll be Cami Creed, Caitlin Gase, Kristen Labonte, Jamie Lambert, Taylor DiBenedetto, Haley Dillon, Ashlyn Hill, Deanna Burnett, Christina Biffle. The 11 drivers getting ready for the start of stage number 2.
This restart zone is really late on the front straightaway. We've seen the pace cart pull off almost into turn 1, so makes things really interesting and keeps the field bunched up quite a bit through the first 3 or 4 corners.
I think that's by design. I think it's definitely something that's going to help the nerves of some of these ladies, especially the ones that are mid-pack. But here we go. The pace vehicle about to pull off, and we are green flag racing here for segment number 2 of the Better Half Dash.
PK with the preferred turn in 1 there on that inside line. Holds on to the lead through turns 2 and 3, but now it's too wide for the second spot.
Jensic has her hands full right now with 2 carts behind her. All the carts now going single file into the hairpin.
We had one cart go around there in that chicane off of turn 1, catching up. That looks to be...
I think that would be Lambert's cart. That would be the Lambert cart, the Ivy and Olive Boutique, number 82.
Bumpy out of turn 9, but it's still PK out in front.
Jensic in second, Cami Creed in third, a mirror of the last race. The fastest carts, the cream has risen to the top thus far, but who will be the next to challenge?
We see those top 2 inching away from the rest of the field again here, but Jensic seems to be keeping PK within her sights, but you also have Caitlin Gase there and Cami Creed running inside the top 5, holding strong.
Caitlin Gase really showing some. She's now become a veteran of this race, is Gase, and Kristen Labonte as well, running strong inside the top 5. The leaders, though, only about a cart and a half separating them coming off the final turn. PK, Jensick, Creed, Gase, Labonte, Dillon.
Gase running in that 3rd position, and she is racing for the Meredith Haga Foundation, as well as her sponsored Armored Products, Clubfoot Solutions, Ace Hardware.
Big battle for 3rd right now between Cammie Creed and Caitlin Gase. Almost nearly getting together there in the 4th turn. 2 really good battles up front. 1st and 2nd, 3rd and 4th. Those are the battles on the track to watch.
And again, just 3 laps into this 2nd stage.
That'll be 2 to go when they cross the line here. This 5-lap segment. Reminder, this.
There it is, the push, and a new leader. What a move. Jensick takes the top spot away from PK through turn 9.
Wow, she really roughed her up in that final corner. I wouldn't be surprised to see PK pay it back here.
Oh, and out into the grass she goes. PK paid her back. And
Big
now
time.
Jensick came off the course in turn 3.
That's a big shakeup here on the final lap. A little bit of bumper tag. Jensick now is going to have a tough time in this final segment, but right now PK leads in the final corners over Creed and Gase.
Jensick roughed her up and ran her wide off that final corner, and it was clear PK didn't like it. Not only did she return the favor, but she returned it and then some, because she's got a lot of rebounding to do here after being pushed off the track completely into the grass in turn 2.
Well, it looks like we are 1 to go this time, which according to our iMath was the correct. Not timing and scoring, which is 2 different things, but PK leading right now. What a run for Cammie Creed and Caitlin Gase in 2nd and 3rd. Kristen Labonte now up to 4th. Ashlyn Hill, we talked about her a little between the segments, is up to 5th.
And remember what Cammie Creed commented earlier, I'll let the top 2 take each other out and then I'll be in position. Well, it almost happened right there, because Jensick and PK roughing each other up, but PK in the end is going to come home and win stage number 2.
You read my mind. I was thinking the exact same thing when that happened. She specifically said during that stage 1 break that she was hoping maybe they'd tangle. She's in the catbird seat running 3rd. Well, now look at her. She's 2nd going into the final stage. Could be really interesting to see. But let's not forget that this is in the fans' control, and she might end up restarting 3rd potentially.
Well, also look out for the fact that with that little off-road excursion, Ariana Jensick, the defending winner of this race, is in 6th position right now. That incident, that contact, moving her back 5 spots.
The one thing that she has going for her is the field's going to bunch back up again, so she will be able to be within striking distance. And we've seen that obviously she has the talent behind the wheel that she can wheel that cart. She got a little aggressive there with PK, and it ended up biting her as they were going through turn number 3, and PK paid her back.
Well, she's got a 4th place finish, I believe, in the one race that she ran at Stafford Motor Speedway this year in Connecticut in her limited late model. This is a lady that has a lot of experience. Her 2 brothers also race up there at Jack Root Stafford Motor Speedway, and that's a very hard-nosed racing family.
Absolutely. And you know what my favorite part about this event is? When these better halves get on track, it's fascinating to see their personalities when they put the helmet on, because a lot of them talk about us and how we have our alter egos on and off the track. Well, it's pretty clear we're learning some things here about these ladies.
And someone has always said, and they're very smart about this, that for some reason when you put the helmet on, it changes you a little bit as far as a driver. That connection from brain to foot, maybe that gets connected sometimes or disconnected.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more, but I know we got Noah Gregson down on pit road with an interview. Let's go to him and see what he has to say.
That's right, guys. I'm down here on pit road with Ariana. We just saw a little bit of fireworks out there. Saw a little bumper action with you. Then Julia shipped you off the track. Is that hard racing or was that dirty racing?
I'll let the people at home be the judge of that. I can't really say I'm surprised. She did the same thing to me 2 years ago, so I guess what goes around comes around, and we have 3 laps to dice it out, so we'll see what happens here.
That's right. I might be wrong on my facts right now, but I think you got to vote or you got to send a text into like 801-801. Make some donations. Get her on the front row because I want to see some big wrecks, baby. Over to you, Jose.
All right, we're going to see if we can catch up over here with Julia. Julia catching up with her crew chief, Daniel. They're talking a little bit. I'm going to get in real quick here. Sounds like some great advice happening here. I want to get Julia's side of it here. Great racing out there. So exciting to see it. And as Noah was saying, please, you can donate and get your driver into the second spot. So go ahead and keep those donations. Come on in. This is always the tough part of being a pit road reporter, Noah, is when you want to talk to somebody and they're talking about racing and winning.
That's right. This is like when you get out of the car and you qualify bad, and the engineers are telling you what you did wrong. They're looking at the SMT. They're looking, you got too much brake pressure, all this stuff. But Julia's in a good spot here. She's out in the lead. I don't think she wants to talk right now.
Which is fine. That's fine.
Just go over there and talk to her.
All right,
Let's see what we got going on.
Real quick, we got her side of the story, your side of the story. This is a winner takes the trophy, right? Is that what you want?
Yeah, absolutely. It's $5,000 for our charity. You know, it's a lot of money. I want to win.
I love it. That's the spirit. $5,000 to the charity goes to the winner. So keep racing out there and have fun, okay? I love it. So great advice there. And we're going to see some more racing here in just a little bit. Remember, those last 3 laps are going to be something special and spicy. Back up to you guys.
Well, we're getting some word here. Of course, the Cash to Dash charity. This is your last chance right now. Make sure you get on there and text the word DASH to 801-801. This is kind of like a little bit of a last call. You can still keep on giving. Heck, give all night if you want. But let's see who we're going to get to start in the second position for this race. It's going to be interesting here over the next few minutes. The suspense is building here at the Trackhouse Motorplex for the Motor Racing Outreach Better Half Dash presented by Speedway Motorsports. Well, of course, right now we're getting ready for our third segment, which will be the $5,000 to win 3-lap shootout. And that will be presented by MRO Bump and Run 5K, which is a great event in September that looking forward to a lot. Let's go down trackside.
So we're catching up with Matt DiBenedetto. Not only is he crew chief, spotter, PR, he's also water boy today.
Yep, you darn right. I'm taking care of my woman because she always takes really good care of me. I'm proud of her. It sounds like, does she get to start a little further up, or what do we got going here?
You know what? I don't know. I've not found out yet the news, but what do you think of this guy bringing you water, giving you advice, helping you out? You may be the better half, but he's doing a pretty good job.
I mean, I can get used to this. You know, someone catering to me. No, he's been great. He's amazing.
I love it. So, last 3 laps, what are you going to do?
I'm going to try to go for it.
What did you say?
Wreck them. Yeah, just clean them all out. For our sponsors, ZMAX Lubricants, Williamsburg Contracting, Richmar Flores, she's going to go in there. I told her just hold it wide open.
I love it. Great advice. Well, we're going to see Waterboy if it can make it all the way to victory lane. We'll be there in just 3 laps.
Hey, Jose, I got some breaking news.
Oh, yes.
We have a big announcement here. Come over here with me. We got some breaking news. Kristen Labonte has raised the most money for her charity. Kristen, you raised the most money. You have an option to start on the front row. Do you want to move up to the front row?
Yes.
Yes, Kristen Labonte, the biggest charity raising female out here. Give her a hand. She's going to move up to the front row. Kristen, I want to see some wrecks. Can you wreck everybody for me and take home this win?
Well, I'd like to see a good, clean race, but I can tell you for right now, everybody's going to go for it.
Let's go. Back to you guys up in the booth.
Oh, let's go is what we heard down there. This is going to be a wild and ruckus 3-lap shootout, guys. And I think the gloves are about to go on the drivers, but the gloves might be coming off.
I think it was Road America. Noah Gregson, I keep hearing him say, Rex, I want to see Rex. I want to see you move up, Rex. I remember, I think it was Road America, right, Noah? Is that right?
Yeah, Noah.
No, I don't remember that.
Oh, really?
Selective
Okay.
memory of race car driver.
I understand. I was actually calling that race. I'm pretty sure I remember it clearly.
Noah
I'm pretty sure I got caught up in that, too.
I was going to say, I think Anthony was there, too, so he knows all about that one. All right, but that's great.
That was just for
Kristen
one
Labonte.
guy, and unfortunately, a lot of others got collected into
That's what it
But
was.
that was a long time ago. We're
Yeah.
better now.
It's a new Noah.
we can forget about that now. But great for Kristen Labonte. That's wonderful. $7,000 raised by Kristen and her donors helping her get up to that front row.
Yes, of course. She's got Kelly Benefits on board in SAIA LTL Freight. But more importantly, she is racing for the charity of Motor Racing Outreach. So right now, that is the opportunity. She raised $7,000 en route to this second place realignment here. And now she has a chance to try to top PK and to win an additional $5,000 that would go towards her charity, Motor Racing Outreach. But hey, there's 10 other hungry females lined up behind her and next to her that want the 5K for their charity.
Well, that last segment, we were talking about how fast Julia Piquet was in the first segment. Well, that last one, she ran in the 47s, which is nearly a second faster than our second fastest driver on track. So she's in her own bracket. I mean, she's on an island out there. She's got a little bit of a buffer to Ariana Jensic now. And as we come to 1 to go, Ariana Jensic has a lot of ground to make up in just 3 laps this final segment. And we have Kristen Labonte, who's hungry to raise an additional $5,000 on top of the $7,000 she's already raised for MRO. This is going to be an intense 3-lap shootout.
Well, let's give the fans watching at home live on Flow Racing, and for those who are in attendance here at Trackhouse Motorplex, you know the front row: Julia Piquet, Kristen Labonte, next row, Cami Creed, Caitlin Gase. Behind that, you have Ashlyn Hill, Ariana Jensic. Can she recover from that incident? She starts 6th. 7th, Haley Dillon. 8th, Matt Di Benedetto, Deanna Burnett, Christina Biffle, and Jamie Lambert round out this 11-cart field.
They're 2x2 once again behind the pace carts. And again, a rolling start here at the Motorplex. 3 laps. Let's see if Julia Piquet can finish it out. She has won the first stage. She won the second stage after winning the pole. Can she make it a clean sweep? 2x2 once again on the front stretch as we get ready for the start of the final stage.
Slow and low, they get led down to the start of the final 3-lap segment here at the Trackhouse Motorplex, presented by MRO Bump and Run 5K. Will there be a bump and run? They're tight into the first corner, side by side. PK to the top.
Labonte tight on her bumper here going into turn 2, but PK gets away. We have 1 cart around.
1 cart around in the back. We'll get you who that was in just a moment. But PK begins to pull away now.
Jensic up to 3rd. From 6th to 3rd on the restart. Ariana Jensic in the 3rd spot. She's got the white uniform on, the black helmet, black and green colors on the nose of that go-kart. She is storming through this field right now.
Cami Creed looks really strong holding off Ariana Jensic right here going into this final corner. We'll see what she can do. She's only got to maintain this spot for 2 more laps.
And that first lap handily by PK.
Got to love our aerial coverage. Our aerial coverage, of course, presented by Eric Jones Foundation. Great drone work today, giving you up close and really unique perspectives here of this MRO Better Half Dash. And we have 1 around. It's Lambert on the front straightaway, pointing the wrong way.
Spin on the front stretch has Lambert around, and she's straightened back out again and headed the right direction.
Well, right now, Kristen Labonte being overtaken, I believe, by Gase there in that for the 4th position.
Jensic still not able to get by Creed as Creed continues to hold on to that 2nd spot. But while they're fighting for that position, That means that PK, with 1 lap to go, is pulling away.
She's got plenty of a buffer. She just needs to be smooth and bring it home here. And Cami Creed talked about surprising herself during the break, running third. Well, now she's second, holding off one of the fastest carts with the leader in her sights, but it's just going to be hard to close that gap with 1 lap to go.
That is the big battle on the track now for second. Jensick now trying the outside. She crosses over and tries to get to the inside.
PK with a very healthy lead now, almost 8 car lengths out in front. And then Creed holding on to second.
One more pair of corners coming up. Can she hold the pretty wheel through turn number 8? That cart, the fastest one on the facility all day long. And now, coming off the final corner from Brazil to Mooresville, it's PK for the win. She's the Better Half Dash champion of 2025.
What a heroic shot from the Eric Jones Foundation drone, chasing her down the front straightaway with that number 1 in the air. How cool is that to lead every lap of this race? She got challenged for a moment there, but returned the favor and maintained her dominance.
The daughter of Nelson PK, the better half of Daniel Suarez. Today she is the champion. And of course, all of these ladies are champions for what they've done here today to put on a great show, have a lot of fun, and raise great money for their respective charities.
And again, it's Project Street Vet for Julia PK. That was the charity she was racing for. Her sponsor, Quaker State, celebrating this win in 2025 of the MRO Better Half Dash.
I do see the suitcase full of money, but now these carts will pull off the track. And of course, they will be greeted by their better halves, and there's going to be a lot of celebration, a lot of hugs. This means a lot to these better halves that a lot of times live their life in the shadows of their husbands or boyfriends.
Absolutely. It's really phenomenal battle there at the end, even inside the top 5 with Caitlin Gase and Kristen Labonte.
Yeah.
Obviously, Kristen Labonte's fans put her up there at the front row for that final restart, and she held on for a top 5 finish.
Matt, you want to give them the rundown as far as we have it?
Yeah, you know, Julia PK, the winner, Cami Creed in second, Ariana Jensick in third, Kristen Labonte in fourth, Caitlin Gase in fifth, Deanna Burnett, Taylor Di Benedetto, Haley Dillon, Ashlyn Hill, Christina Biffle, and Jamie Lambert in 11th. The celebration is going on down trackside right now. Oh, there's a lot of buzz down there right now, and some very happy people around the PK camp.
Yeah, I'm curious as far as Noah, if he thought that was entertaining, because we did see a couple spins
maybe
in
not
that
crashes,
last stage. There wasn't a lot of crashing, but there was some spins, so maybe that entertained Noah.
Yeah, they were roughing each other up out there. That was an awesome race. Julia PK, she for sure drove away from the field all day. She was the fastest cart, like you said, on the facility. There's some sparks flying out there, some smoke rising, but all in all, what an amazing race. These girls did an unbelievable job out there. A lot of fun to watch.
You know, also, we had Cami over here was jumping up and down like she won the trophy.
Silver.
I know. We gotta go over and catch up with Silver real quick before we get to Julia. Congratulations. You were jumping up and down like you won this thing. Silver feels good, doesn't it?
You know, there's a lot of good race car drivers around me, and I did not think I was one of them, but I'm thrilled to get second. But thank you to Motor Racing Outreach, Pit Boss, Road Ranger, everyone to support my amazing husband, brother, dad, video guy, all helping me.
That's so great. Congratulations.
You got to get Phil's sign.
Oh, look at this right here. That is awesome. I love it. We're going to get over here and get a quick word with our winner now. First place. Amazing job. Jump over here real quick. Daniel, let's talk to the crew chief and PR guy. So, great win for Julia. What do you think about the racing here today in the Better Half Dash?
I think it was great, honestly. I am actually very impressed with the level of competition. It was, very hard racing up there with the front. The 4 car was super fast. She passed Julia for the lead, the last corner, and then Julia passed her back in, I think, corner 2 or 3 or something like that. But yeah, it was a lot of fun to watch. These girls, they take it very serious, and they work very hard, and so very, very happy to be a small part of it.
And to help raise so much money for charity. Again, thank you so much to MRO, to all the charities that we raised money for here today, and the ladies that were a part of that. So great job. Julia, congratulations. You're the winner. A big round of applause for our winner today here in the Better Half Dash. That was awesome. Oh my goodness. Tell us about running out front and also this last laps. Man, that was crazy.
Yeah, like I told you, it was just trying to drive 95%, not take myself out of the race on my own, and racing other people the way they race me, and it's all fair game,
So the trophy that you get is taller than Noah Gregson. I don't know if you know that or not, but the trophy is taller than Noah Gregson.
I'm a short king. I'm a short king.
He's not very tall. No.
I'm short king. I'm short king.
But you get the trophy, you get the money for your charity. What does that mean to you?
No, it's awesome. Project Street Vet, they do an incredible job helping the dogs out in the streets and making sure that they're healthy. And I'm so happy and honored to be able to support them.
Noah, any questions for Julie?
Yeah, I got a question. When you were interviewing Daniel, there's a little bit of fireworks going on between yourself and Ariana. What was said between the two of you guys? Or girls, I should say.
I was trying to be a good sportsman and, telling her good race. And she didn't like the way that I drove her. And I said, listen, I drive people the way they drive me, And if you're going to put me wide, I'm going to put you wide. And I think it's fair game.
That's right. Well, you're going home with the tall trophy. What vehicle did we drive here today? I know you guys got a lot of vehicles in the family, a lot of Volkswagens. Did you drive anything special here tonight?
Yes, we drove my Porsche 912.
Dang.
That's awesome.
I like it. I like it. Well, congratulations. I don't know how you're going to get that trophy into the Porsche, but you got $5,000 cash that'll fit in there right nicely. Congratulations once again. Had a lot of fun and hope you come back next year, defend the championship.
Let's head up back to the booth, and then we'll be over in Victory Lane in just a moment.
Boy, oh boy, is this always an entertaining race for so many different reasons. And what happens, you said it before, when you put a helmet on and you strap, that helmet. Racers are passionate. I don't care if you're racing once a year, or if you're racing for your career. If you feel like you got taken out a little bit there, you're not going to be so happy. And, that's what we saw down there today. I'm sure cooler heads will prevail. These ladies all get along, but, right now, not too happy.
Little intense, even if it is for charity.
Yes.
It was definitely entertaining.
I like that.
Nothing short of great racing.
Yes.
I think everyone showed that they were really into it tonight. I mean, I love hearing, even coming into this race, the stories of drivers like Cami Crew never even raced at all and comes home second, which is just unbelievable because she was saying earlier she was thinking she would finish 6th or 7th and maybe a top 5 would be a win. Well, she had a shot at it at the end. So it's just really cool to see their hard work pay off over the weeks coming into this. A couple drivers practiced for a long time leading into it, or even 5 hours yesterday, according to some, which maybe that wasn't the way to go. Maybe their arms were a little rubbery coming into the race today, but a lot of interesting tactics and just really cool to see everyone apply what they learned over the week and throughout the race day itself to put on a good show and ultimately raise a bunch of money for charity.
Rick, I think some of the better halves, maybe Luke Lambert or maybe Randall Burnett, especially if Deanna drove 5 hours here the other day and then driving here today. I think some of the other halves need to give their wives some gift cards to maybe like Massage Envy or some sort of spa here after this event.
Yeah, 100%. I think, and you guys both have touched on it, this is for a good cause. And we saw, a little ribbing there in that last area or the second stage that got PK the win and Jensic fell back to mid-pack. But I think we also saw in the end everyone coming together for a cause, and that's MRO. And we're very thankful that this event gets put on an annual basis to raise money for MRO and awareness. And I think that's one of the things that we appreciate everyone, tuning in on Flow Racing as well as the MRO YouTube channel to enjoy this with us. But that recognition and that notoriety that MRO does on a weekly basis definitely needs to be trumpeted to everyone that is watching so that we can understand just how important it is to this racing community.
Yeah, we've been doing this event now. This is the 12th year that we've ran this event, and in total, after today, we'll have 81 female drivers that have been better halves racing for Motor Racing Outreach. And some incredible names have graced Victory Lane, whether it's the Charlotte Motor Speedway Bandolero versions of this, the iRacing versions of this. The first one, of course, being won by Jacqueline Reagan, David Reagan's wife, Lindsay Pastrana, Ashley Stremme, Kristen Yaley, Shannon Cook, Caitlin Sweet Larson, Jennifer Anderson Self, McCall Galding, now Zane Smith's wife, as well as Ariana Jensic last year. And now Julia Piquet gets to add her name to that illustrious list of ladies who have won the Better Half Dash.
Yeah, and I believe it was Galding that was the repeat winner, a 3-time repeat. So maybe there's something for Julia Piquet to start shooting for now. Maybe that repeat win is out there and will drive her to come back and see if she can outdrive the other better halves.
As fast as she was, I'll tell you what, she had pure raw speed today, and you saw it on the clock in practice. You saw it on the clock in qualifying. Jensic was desperate to get that speed. She seemed to be the second place person most of the day today as far as karts and speed is concerned. She switched her kart before qualifying, which a lot of us kind of questioned that, but she showed speed after that. So it'll be interesting to see what happens next year for this event.
Absolutely, and I don't blame her for taking her shot when she had it, because as you mentioned, when you're within striking distance and that's your best shot to get out front and get that lead kart advantage, you've got to take it. But in her unfortunate circumstances led to Julia Piquet just returning the favor pretty harshly and she got ran wide off the final corner, but there's a lot of concrete outside the racing surface. Where Ariana got run wide, it was grass, and that kart was spinning tires, and she wasn't able to keep the momentum up, unfortunately. But nonetheless, a great battle for the win, and Cammie Creed to be up in the mix as well, racing with the three of them. Even in that final stint to hold off Ariana, who had been really quick all day, was really impressive. But that just allowed Julia Piquet the opportunity to drive away and build a comfortable lead in that short final stint to the end.
Yeah, and Creed, a first-timer here, of course. Some of the veterans, Deanna Burnett finishing sixth was great, but it was great to have some first-timers, too. Taylor DiBenedetto had such a good time today. And I know before they went out for qualifying, they didn't have radio communication between them, and everybody else did. So Billy Malden with Motor Racing Outreach was able to run out and get his earpods, his earbuds there, and they were able to talk to each other. But the wives, the husbands, the symmetry that's going on today, this is the relationship building within the husband-wife dynamic, but then the community dynamic that Motor Racing Outreach does with all their events, whether it's, Father's Day deal, at Michigan, or all the different things that they do, the ladies events, the men's events throughout the season.
We just finished up with Mother's Day last weekend. So obviously MRO, so special to all the families. I had a great time, guys. I mean, Anthony, Matt, working with you guys has been spectacular. And it actually has been very spicy to work with Jose as well. And let's go hang out with Jose now.
Oh, thank you so much. How about a big round of applause for our booth tonight? Give it up for Rick Allen, Matt Dillner, Anthony Alfredo. Amazing job, gentlemen. Spicy crew for sure. And thanks to Noah Gregson for keeping my feet firmly on the ground down here on pit road. But it is time now, if you would please direct your attention here to Victory Lane. And it is my pleasure and honor to welcome our top three competitors tonight, the MRO Better Half Dash. If you would please welcome, in third position, driver with the number 4, Ariana Jensic. Ariana, come on up. Congratulations. Come on up here. Third place on the podium. And in second tonight in the 00, let's give it up for Cammie Creed. Hold it up nice and high. There we go. And your winner and champion tonight of the 2025 Better Half Dash in the number 99, Julia Piquet. Ladies and gentlemen, here you are, your top three competitors tonight in the Better Half Dash. A big round of applause.
absolutely awesome to see these ladies celebrating down there trackside. It's their moment to shine here at the Motor Racing Outreach Better Half Dash presented by Speedway Motorsports. And we're going to get ready to take even more pictures with family, with friends here for the Better Half Dash. And folks, we have a lot of people to thank for this today, in particular Speedway Motorsports. So great to see Jessica Fickenshire out here and that whole entire crew at Speedway Motorsports. Of course, we are approaching Coca-Cola 600 weekend here. Get your tickets now for Charlotte Motor Speedway, but so many other great sponsors that we have to thank.
Yeah, like Racing Electronics, very instrumental in making this event possible, as well as right here, the host Trackhouse Motorplex. This was designed after a karting track in Italy. Parma, Italy is the design of this track. So some of the greats have learned their skills there. We saw these ladies take on this racetrack and make a very big impression. How about Eric Jones Foundation and our aerial coverage tonight? We really appreciate that.
Yes, and of course, Flow Racing. If you aren't a subscriber to Flow Racing, go now. You can see thousands of races for just one price. All sorts of racing from pavement to dirt. Deadline Signs of Concord, North Carolina, my town, does such a great job and provided all the signage that is around the Speedway today. And of course, I got to give a big shout out to my former boss lady, Kelly Earnhardt Miller. She's a wonderful human being, and she was a great part of tonight. All the ladies competing get a hat from her new company, Almost Famous Hat Co. And that's a really cool deal. All trucker hats, and you get to design them your way.
I almost feel famous when I wear one of those hats. It's
I'm famous.
almost famous.
I'm sitting next to you and Alfredo here. So, and also big thanks to our vendors. Three Little Hills, Ivy and Olive Boutique. These are local grassroots people that you need to support. Of course, Almost Famous Hat Company as well. we've got food trucks. They're going to stay open a little bit late for you who are competitors. Whataburger 13. God, I love the local Whataburger. Tacos, Dona Zena. Oh my gosh. You want to talk about tacos.
You've been talking about that ever since you were out there.
That chorizo taco was tops. Kona Ice, Bean Catcher, which was a really cool C10 pickup truck with an old camper behind it. And, of course, Leela's Mini Donuts.
Yeah, you'd be surprised of how many I was able to eat of those.
Oh, how many did you fit in your mouth at one time?
Well, I don't think we're supposed to brag about that, but it was actually the Guinness Book of World Records was calling just moments ago to find out if I wanted to make it official.
Alfredo, some closing thoughts.
Well, I'm very hungry now, so I can't wait to make it over those food trucks. But no, just such a blast to be a part of this event once again. I was honored to be asked to be in the booth with you guys and just listen to your lead and try to follow along with you. It's always cool to see racing a different perspective like this for me. And obviously, Motor Racing Outreach is just so important to my family and I. I was baptized by Billy and Nick Terry in Daytona Beach after the races there a few years ago. They officiated my wedding and just always been there for us. Such great people and everyone in this community, which is why this event means so much. So to be a part of it, this unique role is really fun, and I sure hope I get the opportunity to do it again sometime.
I'm going to echo the praise of Billy Malden and Thor. Also, an excellent job putting together this production, and so we're very thankful for them. But yeah, just wonderful to be a part of such a great event, raising money for a wonderful cause, and we had a beautiful night for it. So obviously God was helping us out with the sunshine and a great night of racing.
And I'll tell you what, I will say on the personal side, it was great to share the booth with you too. Rick, I remember when you came into the NASCAR world and with this booming voice that we were all so jealous of. But a lot of times you have a voice and you don't have the other layer, and you have the layer of being a good human being, and you've always been respectful to everybody that you come into contact with. So we thank you for being here as a part of this broadcast, and we love having you on anything NASCAR or heck, any racing related. But for Anthony Alfredo, my friend Rick Allen here, for Billy Malden, Julie Malden, the entire Malden family, the entire Motor Racing Outreach staff, and of course Speedway Motorsports Incorporated. This was a great time here at the 12th Annual Better Half Dash presented by Speedway Motorsports. And until next time, we'll see you at the races.